Hi. Long time no see. I am in my new house. I have spent the last week packing up my condo, getting it ready to sell, moving in to my new house where I am a lot closer to all of my family. That was kind of the point. Sorry, my dishwasher is going. It's absolute chaos in here. And you know, all that to say is that I have not been reading or anything. And I just figured it was a good time to just kind of take a pause and take a break. So I was listening to Kafka on the Shore audiobook through Audible on my move. And that is going okay. I'm not obsessed with it, but I am liking it. It's not really the vibe that I want right now, to be quite honest with you, but I don't even have the mental capacity to like choose something. Don't mind this wall heater here that's absolutely filthy. It's on the list. It's on the list of things to do. You know, this is the state of things right now. We've got paint and shop vacs and boxes and just, you know, painting. It's been crazy, and this house needs a lot of little fixes. It needs a fresh coat of paint. So I'm gonna continue to listen today to my audiobook because I wanna get some painting done. And I would also like to pick out a physical book and start a book, or at least, I honestly don't even know where my Kindle is. I'm gonna be so honest. I don't even know in this midst of chaos where my Kindle is. And I think I still have a few Audible credits, so I might pick something else. But yeah, I just want to give an update. I will try and film a few clips over the next few days just to get a little welcome back vlog, show you some things that we're doing around the house, and just want to give you a little update of where I have been. Good morning, friends. I apologize if you hear quads and chainsaws and all those things outside right now. I did move to a more rural mountain area in California, and you know, it's a lot of older people. It's a lot of people who do a lot of kind of homesteading and just general more outdoors life. So there are people chopping wood, getting ready for the winter, working on their houses, working outside. And so that's just going to be part of it. People ride their motorcycles and their dirt bikes and their quads, and it's just a different kind of environment, a different kind of noise than I was used to in like this city where I was living, like airport noise and neighbor noise and things like that. So I just thought I would kind of update you officially. I filmed another clip earlier or last week. I thought that I was ready to like come back and vlog and update, and I just wasn't. It was still, there was just too much going on. Hans, the dog, and cats are doing great in their new space. They are definitely enjoying having more room. Archie really wants to be outside, and at the moment, I'm just not comfortable with that. And there are a lot of predators out there. I'm just not quite ready to let him outside yet, but he was so used to being outside on the patio of my condo, like you guys have seen so many times. He loves being outside out there. One of the many projects on the list is getting him like a catio kind of setup, or at least maybe getting our just kind of outside space a little more fenced in and secure for him. I just don't want him to get spooked by something outside and run off, because he is an indoor cat at the end of the day. But I do really want to give him some options for fresh air. He doesn't look happy right now, but he is doing great as well. I do want to just like update you guys and kind of yap about what what the deal is. We just went through a heat wave. Like literally, you know, I still have like ladders out and stuff, but look at these ceilings. I love them so much. So yeah, the deal is I haven't posted a video in almost a month, and that was not really the intention. I just didn't quite plan ahead enough for videos, and you know what? I have been extremely consistent in my almost 2 years on YouTube now. I think I've only missed 1 week's of upload. Luckily, we moved without too many, you know, tears and arguments or anything like that. It was overall, I have to say, a smooth process, but I have been absolutely exhausted mentally and physically. Honestly, mostly mentally. Like, I'm not a very adult stuff, and I know I'm not a lot of this adult things and like large purchases and paperwork and taxes and signing documents and things gives me a lot of anxiety. So it was really taxing for me mentally. I'm gonna be honest, I have not picked up and read a book in at least a month. I have been listening to Kafka on the Shore through Audible, and I'm enjoying it. And I'm feeling very similar to how I did with Norwegian Wood, where there are some aspects of it that I hate. And I'm just like, why the hell am I listening to this? Then there are other parts of it where I'm like, this person is a genius, you know? Like, I'm having very much those polarizing experiences with it, just like I was with that book. And so I've been listening to that probably for a couple, like 2 weeks now. Like, I did listen to a big chunk of it on the drive with the move, and I'm just finally starting to feel like I have kind of even just free time in the nights to read a little bit before I go to bed, because before I was literally just like slonking out when I hit the pillow and didn't have any capacity for reading or gaming. And then with the house, it just wasn't a move-in ready house. It wasn't, you know, completely like unfinished by any means, but I did need some love, you know? And so when we moved in, it wasn't really like I could just kind of move all my stuff in and set things up and like be ready. It was very much like there were things that we had to do right away, like put up and fix some fencing for the dog and rip up 2 rooms of disgusting dog piss filled carpet, and it was just not clean. My realtor said they were gonna get it cleaned, and it was not. So it was a lot of cleaning, ripping up carpet, laying down new flooring. You guys, I know this is just gonna be a yap session, but that's just what this video is gonna be for me to even remotely be able to get it up. My 80-year-old grandfather is such a beast. He is still so spry and energetic and like there, like mentally and physically. Literally helped Matt put in 2 bedrooms of like laminate wood flooring. And so yeah, it's just been a lot of stuff where it was like I didn't ever feel like I could really kind of set up still. We only just now kind of got like the living room set up because I painted the entire living room, like all the baseboards. Wasn't wanting to bring in everything of my stuff and like set things up without really cleaning and like setting things up, doing it right the first time so that I can just not worry about it again. Long story short, I have not been able to set up my office, you know, my PC, my bookshelves. Everything is still in boxes in that regard. You know, there's still furniture we need to buy. We have not been able to find the hardware for our bed frame, so our mattress is still on the floor, you know, and we're coming up on 2 weeks being in the house in just a couple days. And so I'm just gonna kind of do this update video, maybe just chat about, maybe find my Kindle, because like I said, literally all my books are still in boxes in the garage. But I'm excited to film like setting up my office, because I'm officially gonna have an office with all my bookshelves. I'm contemplating painting my black bookshelves. There's a lot of like fun little things coming up, but I just had to get things a little bit more set up in here before I felt like I could even remotely have time to film and edit this. We moved back to California, where we met, where I have lived all my life. I just had a few things happen in the last year where I just really, it hit me like I just kind of want to be closer to my family again and just spend as much time as possible that I can with them, because my family is like, they're my best friends, and my sister is my best friend too, and that's where I was living to go be near her, and I've been there for the last 5 years, and that's been amazing too. So that was great, but it was just never a place that I knew was going to be forever. I knew that I wasn't going to live in a 1-bedroom condo forever. I feel much more myself in California, I will say. There are many, many things I dislike about California and don't agree with and scare me about living here. Honestly, it was just one of those things where I just kind of was like, I have to make the sacrifice, I feel. But the plan is that I'm going to be starting another channel, more like homestead trad wife, just kidding, but homestead, and kind of like gardening and cooking and home project kind of oriented. So I will let you guys know when that's happening in live. I would love for you to join me on that as well. But instead of doing it over here, I think I'm just gonna keep this book and kind of hobby and iPad, you know, focused. I still love that. I'm really excited to get back into that. Get back into my iPad resets, get back into reading, obviously. I've obviously been in a huge slump. That's kind of the life update, the long 20-minute life update. And thanks for still being here. If you're still watching and you know, didn't forget about me, I really appreciate it. I know it's been a long time, but I do feel like the rest and break was good. So now I'm excited. Again, I feel like I had a good break and I'm ready to create content again. Good morning. It is about 8:30. I need to get on a serious cleaning binge this morning. I'm on the last chapter of Kafka on the Shore, so I'm just gonna listen to that and do some cleaning before it gets too warm today. We've been in a heat wave. Don't mind the hideous deer antler light fixture. Also, the people who lived here, like I said, we're in the mountains, y'all. The people who lived here before were very you know, country hunting types. So just disregard that. That's on the list. Anyway, so I would like to get some of my physical chores done this morning so I can focus on editing this video this afternoon when it gets a little warmer. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm on the last chapter of Kafka on the Shore, and then I'll chat about, I started reading a book on my Kindle last night that I started like a month ago. and read like 5 pages and then never picked it back up, but I will chat about that one. I read like 20% last night in bed. I laid in bed early and read for the first time in at least a month, and it felt pretty good. So I'll chat about that. I'll let you know my thoughts on Kafka on the Shore when I'm done. I should be done in about 20 minutes. These chapters are long. This chapter is like 28 minutes, but I'm listening to it on 1.5. So I'll check back in with you. I need to desperately do laundry and clean these floors. I have thoughts on Kafka on the Shore. I was really conflicted the whole time. I was like, do I like this book or not? And then when I finished it, I was like, oh, yeah, I do. I do. I read Norwegian Wood. I also listened to it. I've listened to both of these on Audible. And Kafka on the Shore is one that I would actually like to get a copy of and read physically at some point. Again, because it's one of those books that I feel like every time you read it, you'll notice something different. You'll make more connections between the characters because it essentially is like an existential magical realism, multiple POVs about how all these different characters are connected in like this reality and an alternate reality. Things are fated, meaning of life, and like how things are connected. And I love that kind of shit. It's a very much like pretentious literary book, and I get that, and that's just things that I like. I would have rated this 5 stars if it wasn't for 2 specific elements. Similarly with my first Murakami experience with Norwegian Wood, Murakami very much is a man who writes about kind of like very sexually driven young men who are kind of insufferable. He doesn't necessarily write women in a way that I love. And like as a woman, I don't love that. As a reader, it's something that I can just take it for face value, right? Like I don't personally have to relate to everything and like 100% agree with everything to read a book and really appreciate it for what it is. So that part was still here in this, specifically the Oedipus complex or Oedipus prophecy. And so there's very much like incestuous. It's not like explicit in this one, but it's mentioned, right? Like either really happening or in an alternate reality or in a dream like state. It's not so explicit where it's like, but it is there. And I don't love that. That part of it, I could look beyond and be like, you know, that generally could lend to the plot, right? The whole like Freudian of it all, I get. But the second part of this, and this is spoilers, I'm going to put a spoiler warning for this whole section for Kafka on the Shore in this. But it's not major spoilers, but it's more of trigger warnings. There is like animal torture in this, specifically cat, you know, things. Which didn't provide any value to the story, didn't drive the plot in any way. It's very graphic and specific, and it's like a whole long, the chapters are long. On the audiobook, they're like 20 to 30 minutes sometimes for chapters. Personally, don't feel like that helped the story in any way whatsoever. There could have been a million other things that that character could have been doing. And so because of those 2 things, it was a 4, maybe a 4.5 for me. If those 2 things did not exist, it would have been a 5-star read because it is so what I love in a book. The magical realism just really hit for me. And it's one of those books where after I read it, I was just like, the feeling that I got listening to it was like, this is reading. This is a crazy, unique experience. It's interesting how people's minds work. I love reading about different kind of characters and how everyone in the world is interconnected and kind of fate and that metaphysical part of things I love in a book. So it was a good experience. I ended up liking it more than I thought I would. Like I said, I do have kind of my issues with Murakami where I would never say he's like a favorite author of mine, but I do really appreciate what he does with his books and the writing style. I know some people really hate it. The thing I've enjoyed most about his books has been just the general descriptions and writing style and overall kind of themes. So also update, this is going to be my office. So I am thinking bookshelves here, desk here. My parents are giving me a big like love seat reading chair situation that I think might fit there. It might not, it might be too big. It comes out quite a bit with like an ottoman but we'll see. And then we do have a big mirror. This is my painting sleep shirt, so don't mind that. But fiance and, like I said, my 80-year-old grandpa, who's a beast, laid this floor a couple days ago. It's echoey in here, I'm sure, but I'm also thinking about painting it if I want to paint it like, oh, and it has also the vaulted wood ceilings. I need the dog and cat taps on the floor, so you can really hear in here. I need to put trim down on that floor first before I can kind of get my desk set up, but I'm so ready to have my desk, PC, office situation back. That is a priority either tonight or this weekend. So, last thing I want to talk about was I read 20% of Slaying the Vampire Conqueror last night, which I'm very happy about. Happy to report, really enjoying it. This is a novella in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, which I've talked about on this channel quite a bit. And specifically how I really did not enjoy the most recent full-length novel in that series, The Songbird in the Heart of Stone. I really didn't like, and I hated to say that because I really loved the first two novels in that series. So I'm happy that right now this is hitting. I'm really just loving being back on my Kindle. I have missed it. So I read this for about an hour last night. It says novel, it doesn't say novella, but I know in the like universe thing, it says it's 1.5 or 2.5. Let me look. It says 2.5. Did I miss one? Oh, I read the other novella, obviously. Six Scorched Roses, one of my favorite fantasy books that I have read. Duh, because Six Scorched Roses was the 1.5 in the series. And that one does say novella, and this one says novel. So I'm hoping that this just kind of gets me back in like appreciating and liking Carissa Broadbent, because Songbird in the Heart of Stone was not good, if you can see. I gave it 2 stars. So anyway, that is my reading update. I'm sorry, it's probably a little, you know, just chatty and not much else going on, but I just really wanted to get back in the swing of it, get an upload up, start vlogging again. So happy to be back again. I am 7 books behind my reading goal at this point. This summer has really put a damper on that, so we'll try our best to get back on track. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.